Hey guys, this is Maladaptive, the creator of this channel, and this is the first time I'm actually doing a video voiceover, so please be easy on me for this. For this video, I am drawing a character of mine. His name is Elmon, and it is called the Rat King because of the rat familiars which he had due to his warlock pact. I often start my drawings by scanning them in, since I have recently hooked up a printer which I've had for years and have never been able to use. It is only now that I'm able to use it, since I have a new computer that actually recognizes it. So I'm very sorry that I don't have videos with the line art. I will do some more videos in the future that does involve the line art and the process that goes through, but for now, I'm really enjoying the process of scanning pictures in and just coloring them that way. It also helps me with my traditional artwork and keeping those skills as well as my digital skills. So I think I should go into the character that I am currently drawing, Elmon, and his story. He is from a tabletop game, Dungeons & Dragons, which is like a West March, but a bit larger than that. It's actually kind of gone a little crazy. It's kind of like a shared campaign setting, where we have multiple DMs who all host games within the same setting. You sign up for a session based upon what a DM puts out on the quest board, and then we post a date on whoever can make it. So you don't often get the same group playing with each other, and you have a few DMs to choose from. I happen to be one of the DMs in this campaign setting. Elmon is actually an NPC that I created in one of my first games that I had run. He was a young high elven boy who was kind of very lackluster, all things considered. His family was noble, they had prestige to them, but not really the highest of prestige, but enough for them to be a bit more snotty than most people. And Elmon really wasn't much. He was average. Because of this, he actually felt quite neglected and unloved by his parents, and therefore a devil named Ishtar actually sought him out and used this to his advantage, and Elmon ended up making a pact with him in order for him to become a piano prodigy. And this pact actually did end up getting him the fame and attention and love and the approval of his parents. But his parents didn't love him the way they should. They were still distant. They were just not really neglectful of him anymore. And so he ended up getting a familiar imp named Piptic, whose favorite form is that of a rat. So I wanted to really encapsulate that, because whenever the party first arrived at his home, it was because the parents were afraid that someone had a hit on Elmon, because they kept seeing people around him that were like talking to him that they didn't recognize, and that weird things are going on in their house, such as mysterious magics and the fact that there was an infestation of rats, and how he seemed to be talking to someone who wasn't there. And of course this was all stuff due to his pact, and it was kind of set up to be more of like a ghost story, a haunting kind of thing. But one of the people that signed up for that session actually was the warlock. So the second he heard about all this stuff, he started saying, he's a warlock, he's a warlock. So the ghost story aspect of it actually didn't come to fruition. It ended up being more of like a, hey kid, don't make pacts with devils unless you are willing to face the consequences, because I can assure you there will be consequences. And of course, when the time came, there were plenty of consequences. In the session, Ishtar was quite upset that the party was kind of divulging the business and telling him to stop with his pact, and ended up confronting the party, who ended up, as most parties do, attacking him. This ended up creating a fight, so they had to roll initiative and begin this fight, and in the fight, whether or not Elmon would be on the party side or if he would be on Ishtar's side was determined by how they would interact with him during this fight. Instead of engaging, he was just sitting at the piano playing music until some kind of event were to happen. The party was facing off with him, except for the bard in the party, actually. A bard named Ephraim, who is pretty chaotic at heart. He actually went to Elmon and sat with him, like began to talk with him and sympathize with him and tell him that he can get him out of there, he doesn't have to stay there, basically showing this kid empathy. And he used 2 of his turns to roll persuasion to convince Elmon not to engage in this fight and to reconsider this devil that he had a pact with. And whenever he finally convinced Elmon, he dimension doored that kid right out of the house. It was honestly one of the first times that as a DM, since I was still quite new to it, I felt the joys of having a player get attached to one of my NPCs. What ended up happening at the end of that battle, though, was out of pettiness, Ishtar killed Elmon's parents, and a whole bunch of other shenanigans happened where the warlock actually ended up summoning a demon with Summon Greater Demon, and used that demon to go back to the house and grab Elmon's sheet music. And then we had oh boy, we had I think he was a barbarian, Dragonborn, who always took prizes from missions he went on, but whenever the devils died, they turned into Ichor as they do, so he couldn't really get an actual prize from them. And it gets pretty graphic, but he ended up taking prizes from the parents' bodies instead, which ended up having quite a butterfly effect, because when he walked out of the house, the warlock saw the parts before Elmon did, and ended up casting darkness in order to shield Elmon's eyes from this. And because he cast darkness, he dropped concentration on Summon Greater Demon, who was still in the house, and the demon ended up completely destroying this house, as well as killing the maid inside there. So everything Elmon knew just got absolutely annihilated, completely gone in one day. It was quite traumatizing, I would say. It was one of the, I guess, it was the first time that I had felt the connection between a PC and an NPC, but also it was the first time I left a session with an NPC I had just made for that session off the top of my head, thinking, my god, I feel so bad for this character. So he ended up being more than just a one-shot character because of that. I had empathy for him. A player had made a very genuine and kind connection with him. So they brought him to one of the temples in order to be raised there as an orphan, while the bard actually kept going to the temple and visiting with him and talking with him and making sure that he was okay and teaching him how to play music without the influence of a devil. And a lot of stuff happened. His story definitely is longer than this, but this bard character actually ended up adopting Elmon, because Elmon at the time was around 13 to 14. By now he's 15, but Ephraim adopted Elmon. Now he's like his son, and then Ephraim realized high elves lived for an incredibly long time, so now he calls him his 2-year-old. Very wholesome. Ephraim's become quite a wonderful character. He's matured so much. He was always a wonderful character, but that is Elmon's story in a nutshell, quite condensed. I am quite proud of this character, and I really wanted a piece that showed that devil pact in him, and the fact that he's all fancy schmancy, little noble rich high elf. And also, I kind of want to give off that devilish charm, if you know what I mean. Elmon now, at this current state of time, is going to Bard College. He's a very young member of the Bard College. And before he went to the Bard College, I had his hair down. He would wear a trench coat because they bought him a trench coat. Quite edgy, really. But now that he's in college, I kind of had this new design change for him where he sleeks his hair back because people think that's fancy to have your hair sleeked back. And he wears these fancy shirts, but I always like to kind of roll it up to his elbows. I think it shows more of a playful side to him. He also is a little womanizer. He likes to flirt with girls and act charming and stuff. He's just a little cute boy, you know, figuring himself out. Has gone through quite a bit of trauma and is now working his way in the world. So that's the story of Elmon Daigeros, young bard extraordinaire, prodigy, son of Ephraim, and all he went through in order to get to where he is today. This is also the picture I made of Elmon, and I hope you really enjoyed watching this, and I hope that you, I don't know, had some entertainment. That's all I can really ask for. So please stick around. I will be making more speed paints, and I will be making more pictures. Yeah, hope you enjoy.